What's up everyone, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing a beer from Spaten, and they are out of Munich, Germany, and this is their premium lager, and outside of the US this is known as their Münchner Hell. So this is a Helles lager that comes in at 5.2% alcohol by volume, 21 IBUs at the time of review. I don't know exactly how old this bottle is, but it does have a Best By date of August of 2024. We're just under 3.5 months away from August, so we should be good to go. Now, full disclosure, I've had this one before numerous times. However, I have not reviewed it on the channel, and a viewer of the channel, Josh, wanted to see me review this beer, so here we are. I'm reviewing this as a shelfie beer for the month of April of 2024, and I'm hoping it's pretty tasty. Let's put it this way. As far as this beer goes, I've always found it to be a good, solid, like shelfie Helles lager, old reliable, so to speak. However, it's in the green bottle, and when you get a clear bottle or a green bottle, they can be light struck. So, and when you pick it up singles as well, like there's a greater chance that it is going to be light struck. So I'm hoping that this bottle is not skunky. We will see. And if it is skunky, hopefully it's just in the aroma. A lot of times that'll happen in the aroma where it's skunky, and then, oh, let's see, is it coming? I just cracked it. Guess what? A little bit of skunk for sure. And that happens a lot with these imported, these imported lagers that are in clear and green bottles. A lot of times they will definitely be skunky, and then you start drinking on them and they're fine. They got to open up in the glass, I find. So, oh, look at that. That's a beautiful looking beer, honestly. So, still a little bit there. Now, what I just tasted compared to what I can smell, completely different. So the skunkiness for me usually just comes through in the nose and not so much in the taste. So again, that's what I'm hoping. Beautiful clarity. Like, you can see my hand through the other side of it. Has that beautiful like yellow golden color, a little bit darker than say like an adjunct lager or a light lager. Had about a finger and a half of a bright white soap sudsy looking head. Plays the role for a Helles. It looks beautiful in the glass. The clarity's through the roof. Exactly kind of what you want. Hold it up to the light, of course. Beautiful. Just the clarity, brilliant clarity, beautiful looking head. The beer just looks picture perfect as far as like a Helles lager goes. Let's get a nose. So right away, I will say this already. Now, when I cracked it, right, the skunkiness hit me. And even when I did that little cheat off the bottle, I could still smell the skunkiness. Now that I get my nose in there, it's completely gone. Like 100% just not here anymore. That's wild how it just opens up in the glass and kind of dissipates. Yeah, anyway, so the nose is pretty damn solid. Again, I love Helles lagers because of that like complex like bready note, and that's what's happening here. A lot of like sweeter bready notes, like sourdough bread, but a little bit of a sweet kind of like white bread as well. So a touch of like a lemon, just a little bit of a lemon, like a zesty lemon. And then orchard fruits, more of like a apple or a pear, but more to the apple side of things. And then there's a very mild, like spicy, floral herbaceousness from the hops, more to the spicy floral side. Yeah, I mean, it smells like a good Helles, and that's, again, what I always remember this beer being: pretty damn solid, good budget beer, so on and so forth. Especially for an imported beer. When I say budget beer, it's not going to be like super cheap, but for imported beer, if you want a Helles, I've always found it to be reasonable. Anyway, let's get into it. Cheers, everybody, or should I say Prost. The nose carried over to a T. Like 100%. Like, this is a nice beer. The body on it's like lower side of medium, approaching medium for 5.2. I think it's pretty well done. The mouthfeel, it's not as crisp as I remembered. I remember having like a firm, moderate, maybe touch over moderate carbonation. This is a little bit softer. It's like lower side of moderate carbonation. There is a smoothness to it, not really creamy or anything, but it has that crisp cleanliness on the palate. The taste, this is not super overly complex, but right up front, lots of bread, white bread, sourdough bread, even like, I could even say maybe even like a little bit of a rye because of the finish that has that like little spicy herbaceousness. That hits me right at the forefront. It's omnipresent. It's everywhere on the palate. It's the predominant note. A little bit after that, I get a zesty lemon, maybe a touch of like a like an orange or a tangerine, but not really. It's more to like the lemony side of things. Midway through the palate, that I would say it's more of like a red apple core. Like as you eat an apple, you get closer to the core, a little less sweet, a little bit like more just like earthy and green. That's kind of what the apple character in here is hitting on. No off flavors. I'm not getting anything that would indicate like green apple or butter or anything like that. It actually, yeah, nothing like that. I mean, it's pretty damn good. And on the finish, again, that spicy herbaceousness, a little bit of floral character. This finish is semi to full on dry with a mild to moderate bitterness. I would say more to the mild side of things with the bitterness. This is more dry than bitter, and it really balances out that sweetness. I'd say it leans a little bit sweet, like 55, 45, or 60 to 40 in terms of sweetness to dryness, but it's fine. 5.2%, you can't tell. I do think the body indicates that this is definitely in the 5 range, maybe even closer to 6, because it is a little bit bigger than I anticipated. It's a very easygoing, crushable beer. And if I'm being 100% honest with you, and that's what I tried to do with this channel, when it comes to beer, this is better than I remember it. And that's funny because it was kind of worrisome after I cracked it. I was getting the skunkiness. I'm like, all right, we'll see where it goes. Yeah, I probably should pick this one up a little bit more often. I mean, a lot of the American breweries are doing Helles lagers pretty well now, but something about getting a value Helles lager where I could get a 6-pack of this. We'll talk about price point and availability, but a 6-pack of this is like anywhere between like $10 to $12 typically wherever you shop. So for that price point for a 6-pack, I know this is actually a 355, so you're getting 12 fluid ounces. So yeah, I don't know, this is pretty good. So rating wise, Spaten's premium lager, Münchner Hell, whatever you want to call it. I think it's also called something else in the UK. I am going to give this one a, if we talk about like a value Helles, this is like in the high 4, low 4.25 range. Like I think it's pretty fucking good for what it's supposed to be. Personal preference, I'm going to go low 4. I'm going to go 3.9. I think that's a pretty good score for this. For myself personally, some of you out there, I know Josh, you love this beer, so you're probably going to give it higher, and then some other people are like, yeah, I don't like that one. For me, there's absolutely nothing that's offensive. This is very inoffensive. It has nice flavors. Outside of that skunkiness, which could turn people off right from the get-go, I don't think there's anything bad or wrong about this one. It's really well brewed and pretty fucking tasty. I just wish it wasn't a green bottle, so I don't have to deal with the skunkiness. Just come in a brown bottle or cans or something. Maybe they are now, but I don't know. But like that sucks out there in green bottles here in the US. Like I said, it's anywhere between $10 to $12 for a 6-pack here in the Buffalo, New York area. Might be a little bit cheaper, more expensive where you are. And then availability, I'd imagine if you have a grocery store or a beer store by you that does imports, it has a decent selection, you should see this. This is a beer that I can find in the grocery store, but then I go to my local bottle shop that has imported beers and you'll find it as well. So yeah, anyway, if you've had this one before, post in the comments section. Like I said, 5.2%, can't really tell. It drinks a little bit bigger because of the body, and the flavors I say would stand up to something that's approaching 6%. So it's lighter, it's more flavorful for a lot of beers that I've had in the 5% range. So it's really nice. So what do you think about this one? I'm sure we have a lot of varying opinions out there. So please, if you've had this one before, post in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you. I try to reply to almost every single comment I get on my channel. I've had some comments lately where people are like, oh, that's awesome that you replied, and you replied so quickly. It's like, to me, having a niche YouTube channel that you review craft beer and beer in general, like, you should reply to the comments. That's just how it should be. Like, I love the interaction. Otherwise, I'm just talking into the air to nobody. Like, the interaction is what kind of drives me to, create reviews. I'm not a content creator. I just post reviews, but it does drive me to drink these beers, review them, and the back and forth. I've made a lot of good friends here on YouTube in the beer community because we talk about a common interest, and that's what I like. So if you've had it, please post in the comment section. Appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Cheers, and thanks for the recommendation, Josh. I'm glad you did, because I don't know if I would have reviewed this one this year. I don't know. Like, there's so many beers that I still need to review, but it's like so many beers out there. So when somebody recommends something, I like to review it. So thanks again, buddy. Cheers. Or should I say, Prost.